Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing Wild Badger's new 40-volt 21-inch lawnmower, which in the past has been a very popular model on Amazon. Let's get to the unboxing. This is a paid sponsor review by Wild Badger Power. Feel the wild, harness the power. Ta-da! So let's kick this review off by talking about what Wild Badger Power is actually promising us. This is a battery-operated 40-volt 21-inch lawnmower. This self-propelled lawnmower is a multi-speed adjustable rear-wheel drive, complete with what Wild Badger Power calls drive strong power for great traction with both flat or incline slope conditions. It's complete with a powerful brushless motor, and the speeds are up to 3,200 RPMs, providing premium cutting and improving working efficiency. It comes with two 40-volt batteries, providing up to 88 minutes of runtime, and the batteries take about 60 minutes to fully charge. Has what they would call 4-in-1 function, which is mulching, bagging, side discharge, and rear discharge. Now, as far as height of cut goes, this mower is complete with 7 height adjustments. So you can adjust the cutting height directly between 1.18 inches and 3.55 inches, which would be according to your preference or the season, which means that you can mow pretty much any type of grass, both short or tall. The mower is equipped with a large 15.8 gallon collection bag, and the handle can easily be tilted and moved forward, giving quick access to the collection bag. Before we start the mow, I want to go over some features. Now, I'm 6'2", pleasantly surprised to see how high and how low this goes. For a guy my size versus my 12-year-old son, not gonna have any issues on height, but I would say comfortably that this is one of the tallest mow settings that I've ever been around. So if you're anywhere between 6'2" and 6'7", you're gonna be pretty happy with this. I mean, look at this. It's almost all the way up here. Now, a couple of things. When it comes to raising and lowering the adjustable height of cut, it's spring loaded. Super, super simple. Now, the other thing that kind of surprised me, right, is that the bag quality on this, and I know I've been a little rough on this in the past with some of these other mowers, but they've reinforced it in some of the weaker spots. They put this extra piece of cloth here. I would say on a scale of 0 to runway, it's probably not the best looking thing on the planet, but super functional. Considering all the features that's been packed into this lawnmower, I feel like the list price of $549 is a very competitive price. Now, periodically, they're going to throw discounts on this model, so I'm going to make sure that I place a link in the description of the video. I'm really excited to get to mowing with the Badger because no matter how pretty it looks, it only matters if it mows well. I've got a combination of ryegrasses here in the front yard. We're going to mow those a little bit lower. The backyard, I've got some really dense, thick Kentucky bluegrass, and then we're going to find just some random lawn, just kind of a normalized lawn that we can find them maybe a little bit higher that we could scalp down just a little bit, see how well it works. So let's start the mow. First pass with the Badger is done, and for those of you guys who don't know, ryegrass, especially mine, it's extremely dense. Now, I'm kind of breaking some of these 1/3 rules. I've really taken a lot off of the top. I've got a ruler here so we can kind of see where we were at. We're at a total of about 2¼ inches, and then I took it down to 1 inch. So I literally removed 50% of the top of the head of the rye off. And we also went through some spurge in my lawn and nice clean cut. I mean, overall, of course, when you scalp it, you're gonna lose a little bit of color. It's got a nice clean cut, no clogging. Let's open up the bagger, see how the bagger is actually doing. But so far, I'm pretty impressed. And the bag is full. Let's get this off of here. Ryegrass is kind of funny because the grass is thinner, so it bunches up and it clumps up. So far, this is done better than our more reputable name brand mower out there. Nice clean cut, a lot of stuff in the bag. Let's keep it going. So the scalp cut is done. What I want to show you is the layering in the bag. And let's see, try to keep it as best as I possibly can. And again, I'm cutting with ryegrass. And you can see the bulk majority of everything, right, peaks off here. This is very normal for any type of mower. and then in the back, we've got about a 20-degree decline that's occurring. So interesting to see. This is doing better than, I would say, 80% of the mowers out there that are way more expensive than this. And again, ryegrass, super fine clippings. It's not super surprising that it is stacking here and cutting back, but overall, super pleased, especially in the price point. Phenomenal. So my lawn sits right around 1,500 square feet. And guess what? On the second pass, I got about 90% done, maybe 95% done, and we cooked the battery. Now, this battery system kind of surprised me when I first opened the box. I thought, oh, okay, 2 batteries is cool. And then I got the charger and saw that there was only space for 1 battery on the charger. You got a little frustrated, right? Because you'd assume 2 batteries, you get a dual slot battery. Well, to my surprise, they only use one 40-volt battery at a time, and I was able to get through just under 3,000 square feet on one charge. So this is pretty decent considering it took me, I don't know, 20 minutes. And keep in mind though, I'm scalping, meaning taking more than 1/3 off the top, which is highly not recommended to do. So I'm pushing this mower as hard as I possibly can. So for me to get just under 3,000 square feet of this, pushing the battery is really good. Now I did discover it's got what I would call a torque on demand system, meaning when it goes through thicker patches of grass, you can hear the machine speeding up. Now, the downside to this torque on demand system, which is also a positive, is when I got through some really thick patches and the bag was near full, shut the whole mower off. And like I said, it's a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing. Now here's my Kentucky Bluegrass. It's one of the thicker blends or more dense blends of cool season grasses, one of my personal favorites. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a maintenance cut on this. I don't want to lose any color. Bluegrass is a little bit more difficult to get back. And so I've upped the settings and it looks like the grass is at about 3 inches and we're cutting it down to 2. Now check the layering out, right? It's pretty full. It's all the way to the top for the most part. Now, as for how it's coming out of the back, right? I would say it cuts a good solid line about right here. So we're not quite getting the bag all the way full. But the nice thing is, again, once it gets full, not getting a lot of bleeding of clippings on the grass, because once it senses that it's getting too much resistance on the blade, it's stopping the blade. So that's actually a bonus. Okay, so I found lawn number 3. It's overgrown. It's got crabgrass. It's got morning glory. I'm estimating the grass to be fluctuating between about 4 and 8 inches in height. Got a combination of Kentucky bluegrass and a lot of difficult grass to mow, which is fine fescue. I imagine somebody grew this just because of the shade, but that creeping red fine fescue, it's difficult. It gets really, really mossy. So this is going to be a good test. I'm excited to see how this ends up turning out, and let's talk about it. Take a short break here because I want you guys to see this. I'm actually kind of shocked. I was expecting to see a lot more debris everywhere than I really am. I mean, I'm hacking through this stuff, and I didn't expect to take this much off the top or be able to take this much off the top. I mean, look at this. I got it down to a good 2.5 inch cut all the way down from here, which appears to be at about the 6 inch marker. It's cutting clean. Like, there's not a ton of debris. And again, this is a lot more than I expected to get. So here we are with the bag clippings, considering, I mean, we're some of this stuff, I mean, look at this. It's about 6 inches long. And we're really just having a good time here. Mow quality is good. I'm not seeing any weird cuts. You can see clean cut. Nothing more than I would expect off of a brand new blade. Now, for something in this price range, I was really expecting this to really just bog down and kind of quit. Now, I've got some debris here and there. Nothing too concerning, but the biggest thing was I thought it was just gonna stop or bog down, and I've got none of that. So let's continue to mow. Check this out. The bluegrass cuts real clean, and even when we get into that creeping fine fescue that just tends to lay over, we did really
really well on this. I'm pretty satisfied.
Final cut's done. I mean, pieces of this were up to 8 inches tall. It handled it like a boss. Even cut through the creeping fine fescue, which I was pretty shocked about. Really didn't have any clogging. Again, in the bag, we're catching about 80%. Now, I imagine we're just doing a ton of maintenance mows. We're going to be catching towards 85, 90%, but just watching how it's layering and pitching into the bag, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. It's super functional. And for the second time in a row, we went through another battery. We got about 2,700 square feet of really cutting a lot off the top. So I imagine if you're just maintenance mowing, you're really just taking 1/8 to 1/4, maybe even a 1/2 inch off the top. Probably push this to about 3,000 square feet of actual mowing. And given the fact that you have 2 batteries, worst case scenario, you're going to be waiting about an hour of charge time. Now, this brings up an interesting thing that I noticed. These batteries and the charger has a fail safe. So if the battery is hot, it's not going to begin its charge. So that took about 15-20 minutes to cool down. Today we're sitting at about 89 degrees, spiking up to about 94. I think it's pretty cool to say that we had no overheating issues with the battery while I was mowing, and the battery charger is going to keep it safe. But the reason why I bring this up though is because if you've got, like, let's say a 6,000 square foot lawn, you're going to need to wait for the other battery to charge. So on your third cycle, say you're mowing, you have another battery off to the side, and then you kill one of the batteries, you're charging it. It's going to take an additional hour to charge the battery, but an additional 15 to 20 minutes to cool it down. So you're about an hour and 20 minutes when it's hot to charge and to continue again. So let's dive right into my overall thoughts and first impressions of this machine. And take a step back. Wild Badger Power prides themselves and has made it very clear that they have their own research and development team that come up with new innovative designs. And I gotta say, it shows. First thing I really like about this machine is I really like the height of cut adjustment bar. They nailed the design. It's super easy to use. It doesn't get caught up on bushes or fences, and it's easy to adjust the height of cut. So it doesn't matter if you're super strong, it doesn't matter if you're young, tall, old, bald, doesn't matter. And I didn't think I'd ever say this, but I really like how light this machine is. Commonly when you get a lighter mower, the mower feels like it gets a little bit squirrely when you're mowing, but this deck feels super rigid while you're mowing, and the light design makes it easy to maneuver. The downsides is the striping isn't quite as strong as what you would get with a heavier mower, but it does come with a rear deck mud flap to help out with the striping. Now, I've been using this machine a short while, about 7 to 10 days, but it's given me enough time to really get to know it. And there's a couple of things to consider before purchasing this machine. Now, this machine has both torque on demand and is also equipped with power fail-safes that stop the mower blade when it gets a certain amount of resistance. Now, with the bagger on, this mower is specifically designed as a maintenance mower first and foremost, which means that if you really want to cut more than about 1/2 inch off the top, you should really consider the side discharge option or changing the bag frequently. Now, second of all, if you're going to mulch properly, the included mower blade is really meant to take about 1/4 of an inch off the top, which means that you'll need to mow 2 times per week with the current blade. And third of all, I was able to mow about 2,700 square feet of area per battery. Now, I pushed the mower pretty hard between the rye, the bluegrass, and the blended lawn that I mowed, meaning I took a ton off the top and pushed more energy through the batteries, which means that you should get around 5,400 square feet to 6,000 square feet of lawn area using both the batteries. Now, in the end, considering the overall price versus everything that you're getting out of this mower, it's a great buy. It's one of the very first mow designs. It's very easy to maneuver both on hills, going up, down, and pushing around corners. And for a company with a mission statement that says we empower outdoor enthusiasts with innovative, reliable, and eco-conscious power solutions, I think they did a great job with this mower. And as a friendly reminder, I'll post a link of the products in the description of the video. And in the meantime, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit me up down in the comments down below. You know I'd love to help you guys out. Till next time, guys, at the Pest and Lawn Ginja, we're slaying lawns.